This is the Dogecoin 1 month overview reading for the month of May 2023. It's currently April 7th, 2023, 8:35 p.m. Eastern Time. Dogecoin at the time of this reading, 0.08222. That's just over 8 cents per coin. And the shuffle file that we're about to play was created on March 23rd, 2023 at 12:32 p.m. Eastern Time. That's this file right here. The overall theme and behavior for the month, we have a significant resistance level on a scale of like a year-to-date kind of chart, a significant resistance level and trade opportunity at the month's high. It's crossed with a lot of, well, first off, before it's crossed, there's a lot of price movement either into the resistance level, out of the resistance level, or both. And it's crossed with a significant move to the upside, pushing the upper end of a range higher. Looks like that takes place towards the end of the month. And these coins that are like less than $1, they're significantly more difficult to pinpoint the highs and the lows. They've just got so many. I'll show you what I mean by that in just a minute here. But again, a significant trade opportunity. We successfully turned resistance into support around the high. Behavior around the low. We have a holding pattern with a pop and drop. It looks like there's a pretty big move to the upside out of like a trough here towards the end of the month, but that's after a really big move to the, like, there's at least one drop. There might be two significant drops, like unicursal kind of drops here, one on the 23rd, one on the 25th. And I'm gonna mark that off as likely a highest high too. We might push the upper end of a range higher there. Before we go any further, let's take a look at the March reading. This is the reading we had somebody comment, oh man, on the 6th, it went the completely opposite direction or something like that, and that's all they commented. Guys, I can't stand that type of comment. That's so offensive. Like, I spent hours and hours of time working on this, not to mention the years of my life that I basically sacrificed to get here, invested to get here, to figure this out, and you pick one day out of like all of this. Let's see how the rest of the prediction went. So this is the chart for the month. Looks like we had a high first thing in the month. I was off as far as that. It's sometimes pretty tricky to catch the high like right on the edge. Well, we did come close to, like, if you take that out of consideration, we did come pretty close to the high where we predicted here on the 20th and then again on the 23rd, or excuse me, on the 22nd. And you can see we have right around here, like on the 21st, 22nd, 23rd, we have this high here. But this is what I mean by difficult to pinpoint highs and lows on a coin that's like less than $1, than even 10 cents. I mean, less than $1, because there's so much volatility. Like, we see the high many times. We did see how we nailed the low. I mean, we have the low for the 10th. The low is on the 10th. Why? Because there weren't a bunch of lows that were within close. There weren't like a bunch of them. It was really easy to determine where there was. There's all these places where there's almost the same high, making it a lot more difficult. But we still did a pretty good job nailing the low and successfully turning resistance into support. All right, we successfully turned resistance into support. The best trade, well, I'll get into that in another video, but we did all right. This is pretty solid, especially considering that it was created on January 21st, 2023. So that guy, I mean, what a dumbass. Guys, it's fine to point out if I'm wrong about something. Like, I say it all the time. I point out when I'm wrong. But if you're going to like leave a comment that points out one day out of a 30 statement prediction, it points out like the worst statement out of all of them, and there's all these other ones that are accurate and you just don't even bother to mention them, that's the fastest way for you to get banned, my friend. Just like that guy did. Alright, so with that said, we have a rally out of possibly out of a lowest low here on the 1st. No, I think the lowest low is here on the 1st or the 2nd. It's on the 1st or the 2nd, but there's a rally on the 1st and a day trade opportunity, which I'll get into in the paid version. There's a day trade opportunity there on the 1st. On the 2nd, we have a brief peak that's easily missed and a significant decline to a low here. I think probably the 2nd is where the lowest low is. On the 3rd, we have a big move to the upside, reaching for a distant resistance level, almost irrational move to the upside, followed by a peak or crest that we sell, overbought peak or crest that we sell off from on the 4th, pretty notably into a trough later on in that day. Bearish price swings from the 4th into the 5th, but there is a rally that commences on the 5th and takes us to possibly a highest high or a high thus far. There's a lot of places where we come close to the highest high. See, like all of these orange correlations are an important resistance level. They're probably similar resistance, but in any case, likely a highest high there on the cusp of the 5th and the 6th. A sideways S formation and a swing trade, or excuse me, a day trade opportunity on the 6th. By sideways S formation, I mean from resistance we decline to support, then back to resistance, then back to support, creating like a sideways S within a channel, usually in a decline kind of sense. But there's a prominent crest or peak there, likely a highest high on the 5th, 6th. On the 7th, we declined to meet a support level, a significant support level on a multi-day scale that we had recently met before, so probably that we saw on like the 4th. And there's a significant trade opportunity there on the cusp of the 7th, 8th, which I'll get into. We probably gap up. Well, there's a big move to the upside at the end of the day on the 8th, out of what appears to be a decline on the 7th. And we probably decline off of this resistance on the cusp of the 8th and the 9th, where there's most likely another highest high or close. And that resistance level on the 9th, we decline through multiple. We decline with consecutively lower spikes up on the way down. Decline picks up some steam on the 10th. Another trade opportunity there. Which I'll get into in the paid version. Guys, again, if you're interested in the paid version, it's a really great way to support the channel. The way that you do that, guys, is you go to the website tarotfortraders.com, click on Eso-Meta Forecasts here under the Services tab, go to Monthly Predictions, and then you want to pick May, unless you're getting in April, and pick the ticker that you're looking for. And that's a really great way to support the channel. We definitely appreciate all of you that go ahead and do that. You really are what keeps the channel going. So much appreciated to all of you. And we do remember your names, even though we don't mention them anymore. All right, so back to the prediction here. Prominent trough on the end of the day on the 10th. Possibly the 11th. On the 11th, there's an important resistance level highlighted. And we decline along a diagonal trend line from that resistance. The following day, however, on the 12th, there's a prominent crest or peak in the midst of some bullish price swings, and then an important resistance level on the 13th, followed by a sharp decline from that resistance level to a prominent low. It might be another lowest low, or close to another lowest low here on the 13th, 14th, probably on the 14th. And this is where we get into a pretty significant trade opportunity, which I'll highlight in the paid version. But on the 14th, there's the halting of a rally. So out of a trough on the 13th. So we meet resistance on the 13th, decline pretty hard into the end of the day where we have a trough. Out of that trough, we rally on the 14th. But that rally's halted on the 14th by a decline through key support into a trough there. So it's like on the 13th, 14th, trade opportunity. And then on the 15th, we have a crest that a near overbought crest or peak that we sell off from through multiple support levels. On the 16th, we rotate sideways along key support on a multi-day scale. We rise to meet the nearest important resistance, and then we fall back down and continue rotating sideways along that same support. On the 17th, we rally through a key resistance level, creating a peak, which we stay above that resistance level briefly before breaking back down through that same price level with a full retracement. On the 13th, like on the cusp of the 13th, on the cusp of the 17th, 18th, there's a prominent trough for the month. And out of a decline on the 18th, there's a fast sudden move higher, marking the end of that decline, taking us into key resistance between the 19th, 20th. I think probably on the cusp of the 19th, 20th. A lot of ground is covered between the trough on the 18th, on the morning of the 18th, and the resistance level that's highlighted on the 19th, 20th. And we see a highest high there again on the 20th, most likely. Or a highest high thus far. On the 4th, on the 21st, we have a failed attempt to break through key resistance at a crest towards the end of the day, followed by a decline through key support. Looks like overnight we possibly gap up. There's like a decline at the end of the day, and then we possibly gap up overnight and take us to another prominent crest or peak there towards the end of the day. After there's 3 crisscrosses through the same price level, confirming a bullish trend and a crest at the end of the day. But this is where we get into the unicursal energy. It looks like there's some pretty strong declines. I think we probably have a strong decline here on the 23rd off of that peak or crest on the 22nd, taking us to a prominent trough. And then from out of a decline, from the bottom of a range all the way to top of a range, we have like a significant move higher. It's an unexpected move higher. Might even take us from the trough on the cusp of the 22nd, 23rd, all the way into the 20th. All the way into the 24th. And it looks like there's probably a gap down on the morning of the 25th, with a fast sudden move to the upside, taking us to another peak or crest, or possibly highest high thus far there on the cusp of 25th, 26th. And the low that we see at the trough on the cusp of the 24th, 25th is likely, there's likely going to be a lower price level in June than we see at the low in the trough here on the cusp of the 24th, 25th. All right, so here's where we have the highest probability of a high probability of a highest high. If we're going to break through the high here on the 20th, then we probably have a highest high here. That's after bullish move on the 26th, bullish move on the 27th. On the 28th, we create a significant crest or peak. I'm advised not to chase that, or I'm advised that I'll likely want to do the wrong thing here, so be cautious and follow through on the plan. There's a decline off of a peak or crest here that'll stand out on a multi-day chart there on the 28th. On the 29th, probably gap up, and we reach a near overbought peak or crest early in the day on the 29th, an important resistance level. And we are an important price level there on a probably a year-to-date scale or a 1-year scale. And then we successfully turn support. We successfully establish support that can be like relied upon. It's a sound foundation to support that's highlighted there on the 30th. With a breakout on the cusp of the 30th, 31st, and then there's this failed attempt to break through key resistance on the 31st, followed by a decline through key support. And it's key resistance that we probably just failed to break through once before, so maybe around the 28th. And it'll look like we're going to break through it here on the 31st, but instead we decline through key support. Sneak preview for the following month, for June. After this breakout early in the month, we have a period of volatility and a sharp dip that stands out within a period of volatility. Looks like there's a pretty good swing trade within just the month of June as well. Yeah, it looks like a lower price level towards the end of the month of June. In any case, guys, don't forget to follow the rule of karma. It's the whole purpose of the channel. 5% forward, 5% backwards. Make sure you spend that money out of love. Universe is going to send it back to you tenfold in all directions. If you got the paid version, stay tuned. We're going to get into that in just a sec.